Hi everyone from the IBS support group. I hope everyone is doing really well. I had to jump on this live today. It was inevitable. I had to come onto this live today to address the discussion that was going on in the group today. We had actually what I find to be a really beautiful discussion. One of the original posters asked or made a comment saying that allopathic medicine and conventional drugs, regular medicine is not basically going to yield you any results when it comes to healing your IBS. Hi. And antibiotics are the killer of IBS, and he had a very strong statement which everyone reacted to in different ways. Some people supported, some people didn't support. So I highly commend you for coming out and discussing your opinion in that way. I think it's highly commendable. I agree with a lot of what you say, but I also think maybe the approach was a little bit harsh and direct, and in our politically correct climate and environment, especially, we're heavily politically correct these days, it's very hard to accept a comment like that. So in general, it's a blanket statement. It has truth to it. It doesn't have truth to it. Everyone's situation, as we saw throughout the comments, is extremely unique, extremely individualized. Some people need medication, conventional medication, to take them through a rough period of time. Do I believe in taking, conventional medication over a longer period of time and not trying the alternative route and not making efforts to empower your health, eat better, live a healthy lifestyle, take some supportive supplementation? No, obviously not. It's just common sense, right? I believe that everyone in this group with IBS should be taking measures to improve their situation, to better their lives. There's a lot of suffering that is going on in this group. It's very hard to read sometimes, but there really are solutions. I've seen it in my clinical practice over and over and over again, and Gabby as well. So there are certain things that we can really take from conventional medication, from conventional system and the way of healing. For example, the diagnostics are amazing. You go, when I had my IBS when I was a teenager, thank goodness that I had the gastroscopy, the tube down the throat, and the colonoscopy. I was young to be experiencing these things, but I really am thankful that I was able to have these tests done and have these diagnostic, measures taken so that I could see what was going on in my bowel. So they give you some sense of clarity, and they assure you and they give you an understanding of, if there's inflammation, if there are polyps, if there is too much thinning of the lining. All of these things are necessary to know in order to know how to take action. So there definitely is a place for conventional medicine. Some people, as we saw in the group, have, had parasitic infections. There is a place for antibiotics in that case, definitely. But taking these medications over the long run, as we saw in the group, there are many, there are so many informed people in the group, so many intelligent people in the group, and it's really nice and enlightening to read everyone's opinions. Antibiotics taken over the long run, it's proven to be that these are going to harm your healthful positive bacteria, and they're going to allow negative bacteria to proliferate. That's just one of the things that they do. So taking antibiotics over the long run in a chronic way over and over again, round after round, is not highly recommended. I can give you my own situation. So one thing I have to say is John's comment really reminded me of when I go back about, let's say, 10 years, and my brother had a child, and my brother's child always had these constantly recurring ear infections. And what did I know about having children at the time? So I would criticize and I would judge, and I probably didn't make them feel really good, telling them about the negative effects of antibiotics given over and over again in a chronic situation. Fast forward 10 years later, I have 2 children of my own, and I am a naturopath. So what do I do at a crossroads? I really have to think about what I do almost every single day, because I have to make decisions. I'm responsible for 2 other little people that can't make decisions for themselves. So my 2 children my son is 2 years old, prone to ear infections. My kids had ear infections over and over again in the first years of daycare. My child is always exposed to germs, every single day, and coughs and colds and whatever goes around in daycares. So I had to make the decision for him. Do I give the antibiotics? Do I not give the antibiotics? Again, another round of 10 days of antibiotics. This is so hard on his system. But when I go to the doctor's office and I hear it's a huge ear infection, it's red and throbbing, and if you don't give the antibiotics, there's a chance that your child might lose his hearing. Of course that scares the living daylights out of a mother, and of course you're going to be smart and responsible and give the antibiotics for that period of time. At the same time, I always try to heal the ear infections with my garlic and mullein ear oil. I use essential oils, rub behind the ear, arnica cream, rub behind the ear. I give a homeopathic remedy for ear infections. I put cotton balls with, the ear oil in his ear when he sleeps. What else do? I give probiotics. I try to strengthen the immune system all at the same time. So I'm always trying the natural approach. I'm always taking a proactive approach. I have, a pharmacy, a natural pharmacy in my home, so that if anything comes up, I can help my children with it or help us, the adults with it as well. But I'm not stupid if it's a situation which requires medication. I mean, you give the medication, and then at the same time, we're doing, osteopathic treatment and adjustments to see if we can clear the fluids. So you take proactive action, and this is an example that applies to you. If you're suffering every day from chronic digestive symptoms, gas and bloating and pain and abdominal, alterations between unexpected bowel movements, chronic diarrhea, constipation, you have to take measures and empower your health and learn and take action steps and, implement a strategy, a step-by-step strategy that's going to help you feel better. You can't just let it go and do nothing about it. It's just going to keep getting worse, especially if you're eating triggering foods over and over again. So we just have to be logical in this discussion and be intelligent and make informed decisions. So that was the one story that was interesting to me, is when it was a kind of immature comment in the fact that it was a blanket statement on everybody. Some people in the group require medication in order to get through certain situations. Some people in the group have inflammatory bowel diseases and Crohn's disease and colitis, and you can't, ignore the fact that you have to have some anti-inflammatory medication for a period of time to help bring down that inflammation. So everything has to happen within its right time period, within a right period of time, an amount of time, and given appropriately. So that was my first story, is that when I became a mother, I realized that I was being judgmental, and that's not really always helpful for people going through difficult situations. The next story I have is that everyone is susceptible to different things. So, I traveled to India, for example, for 2 months, and I slept beside my then ex-boyfriend. And every morning I would wake up with bed bugs, and he didn't. We were in the same bed. So susceptibility is a huge factor here. Some people are more prone to getting certain things, and some people are not prone to getting certain things. So my whole point was that in India, I actually had a parasitic infection, a very strong one. I actually really didn't enjoy much of my time and travels in India. I learned so much. I was learning Ayurvedic medicine, natural medicine, but at the same time I was suffering a lot from digestive difficulty. And I went and had all the tests in India. I had all the parasitic stool tests, and it always came back that nothing was wrong, but I was still given round after round after round of antibiotics. I was so sick that one day I had to go to a clinic and get IV fluids for rehydration. I was just losing so many fluids from all of the diarrhea. My point is that when I got home, again, I had all of these stool cultures done and testing, and it all came back normal. And of course, the doctor is going to tell me that everything's normal. There's nothing we can do. But I knew I had a parasitic infection. It was very clear from my symptoms. So I took 6 months to heal my gut from parasites. And I went on these anti-parasitic supplements. And that really, really helped me. So there's a place for supplements. There's a place for medication. And all of your ideas really were so insightful and so helpful. And I really appreciate this community. I think that we have so many intelligent people in the group and so many helpful comments. And I had a few comments at the beginning when I first woke up in the morning. The first thing I saw was there was this intense discussion because I had approved the guy's comment the night before I went to bed, which was pretty late. But this morning, early in the morning, I woke up to all of these comments and this heated discussion going on. And then I had all these requests for me as an admin to remove the conversation. So I would not remove the conversation at all. I think it's a very insightful, helpful conversation. I'm learning so much. I think everyone's learning so much from that conversation. These conversations are always so welcome, and that's the whole point of having a community and a group that you can go to share ideas, share discussions, share opinions, debate, fight sometimes a little if you have to, but to get your opinions across. So for whoever asked us to delete the conversation because it was inappropriate, really look into yourself and try to understand where that was coming from. Were you offended by the fact that this person might have been, criticizing the conventional way that we deal with health and wellness? Were you a little bit offended by that? Were you offended by maybe the fact that he was suggesting an alternative way to go about it? That's really what this conversation boils down to. It is an alternative approach to IBS versus a natural approach to IBS. And as I say throughout this whole Facebook Live discussion that I'm here for, is there is a place for all of it. There's a place for all of it. There's a place for conventional medicine. As naturopaths, when you go get your diagnostic testing done from your medical conventional doctor, chances are, I've heard it from you guys, many of you will leave the doctor's office completely disappointed, feeling hopeless, because although you suffer so badly from symptoms, your lab tests, your blood tests come out normal. Everything shows within the normal range. But when you come to an alternative health practitioner, we look at that blood test and the blood sample in a different way. We look at subclinical things that are going on. When you've gone to the doctor and you've gone that route to have all of the testing done, if something is clinically wrong, if it's at the manifestation of a disease level, then it will show up as wrong in the blood test results. Okay? So only if something has manifested to disease level will it show that something is wrong. But as natural health practitioners, we actually look at subclinical levels. We look to see if something is on the way, creeping up to causing, a full manifestation of disease. We look at the values and the ranges at a subclinical level, and that is so, so important to understand where you're heading, what preventative measures you can take, what foods you need to get rid of in your diet that are exacerbating the situation, what exercises, lifestyle measures that you can implement. In addition to that, as natural health practitioners, we have a whole slew of testing that we can do, beautiful testing. For example, we can do a breath testing, candida testing. There's also hair analysis testing. I've never done that one before. I don't really believe in it so much, but I definitely believe in food testing to see if your body is actually mounting an immune response against certain foods. We can test a breath testing for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, which will tell us a lot about dysbiosis and what's going on in the small intestine in terms of the gut bacteria, the quality of gut bacteria, the number of and proliferation of gut bacteria. This is very important. We can test the stool. We can see what's going on in the stool, if there are any parasitic infections living in that stool. So there's a lot that we can do subclinically. We have specialized testing in the natural health world. We're not just a bunch of quacks. We take our jobs very seriously. I'm very passionate about my work. I am obsessed with naturopathic medicine. I love it so much. That's why I was really fueled by the conversation this morning. I loved it. I wanted to go in there and make a video right away, but I had to get my haircut. How's my haircut? So that had to happen first because I didn't want to miss my appointment. So that being said, another thing that is very important in my learnings of naturopathic medicine and natural medicine we learned something called a very deep therapeutic process. And that stemmed from the place that we are energy bodies. We are not just these physical pieces of meat, but we also have emotions and thoughts that guide and direct our physical processes. We have spiritual beliefs. We have this whole energy body apart from just our physical body that deeply, deeply influences the physical body. If thoughts are always negative, complaining, sad, crying, miserable, angry, don't you agree that that's going to affect your physical body? It's going to cause digestive disturbances. Absolutely. So my point here is to say that the original poster mentioned that doctors and medications are kind of responsible, in addition to other things, he said, for IBS. But I'm here to say that that's not the only factor at all. All of the factors that I just mentioned, diet, lifestyle, nutrition, supplementation, lack of supplementation, and mental emotional state is actually the most important. So what's in between these two ears right now, what's going on in your head, your mindset, your brain, your thoughts, that's all going to directly influence your physical state of being. And actually the number one way that I work with my clients is to really uncover those blocks and those mental, emotional blocks that are getting in the way to affect the physical body. Okay? So I really hope this helped to bring some clarity to the discussion today. Again, I really enjoyed the discussion about whether you should apply a naturopathic approach, a natural health approach, alternative healing approach, or a conventional medical approach to your IBS. And the answer is a combination of the two. The answer is every single person is an individual and has individual needs and requirements. There are definitely major health suggestions that will help everyone across the board, but then there is customization that needs to take place, and we see this in the group all the time. I took peppermint oil capsules and they're amazing for me. I took peppermint oil capsules and they gave me a stomach ache. There was one again the other day, I don't remember what it was, but anyway, you get the point that some foods will do well for one person. For example, the original poster's eating only meat and taking Saccharomyces boulardii. So he's taking a probiotic, a certain strain of probiotic, and he's eating meat all day long. In the same post, you had someone saying how terrible their stomach would feel if they were eating meat, even once a day. So it just goes to show that there are some definitely health suggestions that go across the board, but then there is customization and individualization that has to take place. That's a must, because we are all bio-individual beings and we are all experiencing and walking through this life in a very specific way. So I'd love to hear your comments on this video. I hope that it helps the conversation and discussion. And thank you so much for engaging in the group. It's really beautiful. I love it. And we are actually giving away right now, if you're interested in the spirit of holiday and gift giving, Christmas coming up, Gabby and I have decided to gift 3 naturopathic sessions. So full naturopathic sessions will both be on your case. We'll go through your case history and understand what's going on, where the pains are, where the blocks are, and we're going to give you a full set of recommendations so that you can really start 2019 in the right direction. We want to give 3 of these naturopathic consultations for free. What I'll do is I'll post the link for that. There's a little bit of an application process. We really want to make sure that the right people that really need it the most, maybe can't afford it right now, win one of those 3 free sessions. So there's a little bit of an application process. It's really just a few questions. And by December 2nd, we will choose who we feel need the naturopathic consultations for healing your IBS the most. So I'll put the link above the description of this video, like right below the description above this video. And if you feel like you want to change your health, transform your health for 2019, experience better digestion, more energy, ease of digestion, ease of your tummy, it is possible. I promise you it's possible. I do it all the time, every day in clinical practice. People feeling better within a very short period of time. So healing is possible. Believe it, really put that idea into your mind, because it all starts there. So if you're interested in applying for one of the 3 free naturopathic full sessions, then please apply and we'll see if you win. We'll be announcing the winner on December 2nd. So thanks so much for watching again, guys. I love you guys, and it's really awesome to be in the group and share with you guys. So have a beautiful day and take care. Bye.